So you've learned that you're a projector type in human design, the guide, the teacher, the leader, here to have wise perspectives and be brilliant at your thing. And then you learn the projector strategy, wait for the invitation, and you're like, oh, to be honest, some people learn this strategy and decide human design is just not for them. Or maybe you're like me and heard this strategy and felt relief. Or maybe this is the first time you've heard the projector strategy. Don't worry, I'm going to explain what wait for the invitation means in today's video for projectors. I am going to show you how your strategy, wait for the invitation, is your ticket to success in your career, in your relationships, and in life. And you don't need to wait to be invited for everything. In this video, I will tell you what you need to wait for the invitation for and what you don't. And definitely stay till the end because I'm going to give you tips on how to magnetize invitations if you find yourself in an invitation desert. Welcome to Human Design and to Human Design with Anna. I'm a projector myself, and I use the projector strategy all the time in my human design business, even though it goes against the grain of a lot of business advice. For example, I never pitch my human design sessions to potential clients, like never. Now, it can be hard to imagine how to be successful as a projector when you're meant to wait for opportunities and people to come to you instead of making things happen. Basically, that's the essence of wait for the invitation. But success is what's called projector's signature. I like to think of your signature as your birthright. So when you follow your strategy, that's when you're rewarded with success. That's when you're rewarded with your signature. So you can think of your strategy as something to follow to be more successful in life. The projector strategy, wait for the invitation, also called wait for an invitation or wait to be invited, mainly applies to 4 categories in life. So definitely listen up because you do not need to apply this strategy blanket to everything. The first category is that you want to wait to be invited to share what you see, your advice, your guidance, how to improve or fix something. Even though your biggest gift as a projector is in how you see others or how you see systems or how you see things can be made better, you really want to wait to be invited to share what you see. Now, this is really hard for projectors because 1, we see so much, and 2, we see so clearly what could help somebody else. But you really do not want to offer unsolicited advice. It will really push people away and you'll meet a lot of resistance. You can also come across as a know-it-all or bossy when you're giving unsolicited advice or guidance. Pushing what you see on others will push them away. What you can do instead, if nobody is asking or inviting you to share what you see, is that you can ask people questions instead. Projectors are actually here to guide others by asking really insightful questions. So you might as well practice the skill when nobody's asking for your perspective. The second category that you want to wait for the invitation for is in your career. So you want to wait to be invited into a job, to work with somebody or for somebody, for a company, to collaborate with somebody. You do not need to wait for an invitation to work for yourself. I don't recommend pitching potential employers for work. And I know this can be really challenging when you're financially pressed and need a job. So I'm going to give you some suggestions of what you can do instead. Number 1, tell your network that you are looking for work. Number 2, you can absolutely share what you do with people. I know that one of my long-term writing jobs before I was a human design reader, I was a writer, came about because I went to a party, somebody struck up a conversation with me, they asked me what I did, I said I'm a writer, and he said, oh, I just started a company and we need writers. The number 3 thing you can do is you can absolutely hire a recruiter. Recruiters are great because they're going to pair your gifts with a potential employer and help promote you. Your strategy, wait for the invitation, is not meant to limit you. It's really here to help you correctly enter and enter the correct jobs and opportunities for you instead of the wrong ones. You'll have more success when somebody offers you a job instead of you selling yourself to somebody. I know for me personally, it feels a lot better when somebody approaches me to work for them rather than me trying to get them to hire me. The third category that you want to use your strategy, wait for the invitation for, is in your relationships. And this includes platonic relationships, friendships, and romantic relationships. You really want to wait for the other person to initiate you into the relationship. So wait for them to ask you to hang out or ask you out on a date. You can think of it as who makes the first move. For a projector in alignment, that is never you. Even if the vibes are there, and I know projectors, we're really good at reading vibes, I do not recommend that you make the first move. I really do recommend that you wait for the other person to initiate. And I speak from many years of trial and error using the invitation and not using the invitation. I am really trying to set you up for success. The invitation is really important just at the beginning of a relationship for you to enter it correctly. So once you've already been initiated into a relationship, then you can initiate dates or hanging out. I know that for me, I reach out to my friends all the time to ask them to hang out. 2 notes on the invitation before I move into our fourth and final category. The first thing is that invitations expire. Most invitations come with an expiration date. So even if you've correctly entered a relationship by waiting for the invitation and it eventually ends, that doesn't mean it was a failure or the wrong relationship. It just simply means that that invitation expired. Number 2, in the human design space, there is talk of energetic versus formal invitations. So an energetic invitation would look like the vibes being there, you feeling somebody interested in you or leaning in, but they haven't asked you out or asked you to hang out. That would be considered an energetic invitation. Now, a formal invitation would be a verbal invitation of somebody asking you to work for them or receiving an email invite. Now, I personally do not go by energetic invitations because as projectors, we're often so eager or desperate for invitations that we can overstep. I only use energetic invitations when I know that the other person is a projector because it's like who invites who, and then I would just lean into the dynamic. The fourth category that you want to wait for an invitation for is pretty straightforward. You want to wait to be invited to live with somebody. So wait to be invited to move in with your boyfriend or your girlfriend or your friend. And I should add that you also want to wait to be invited into any formal commitment, such as boyfriend-girlfriend status or into marriage. Really gives your relationship a better chance at success. So what do you not need to wait for the invitation for? You do not need to wait for an invitation to move somewhere by yourself, to study something or to go to school for something, to create something like writing a book or building a robot. You do not need an invitation to start your own business or podcast or share what you do on social media. You do not need an invitation to run for office. I see that being elected would be your invitation. This is not a comprehensive list, so if you have questions about a scenario as to whether or not you need an invitation for it, you can drop it in the comments below and I will give you my perspective. So why all this fuss on the invitation? The invitation is really here to safeguard your energy and provide you with boundaries as a projector. As a projector, you do not have consistent energy. Your energy ebbs and flows. And you really want to be sure that you are using your precious energy on the right things, not the wrong ones, like guiding somebody who does not want your guidance. Now, we're not meant to accept every invitation that comes our way. And this can be tempting sometimes for projectors because Invitations don't always come along, and one of the challenges of projectors is settling. So how do we know if something is a correct invitation? Number one, we use our authority to decide. Our authority is our decision-making process in human design, and you always want to use your authority to discern which invitations are correct for you and which aren't. Number two, the correct invitation will often give you energy. Invitations can give projectors energy, and the wrong ones will drain you. And number three, this is a really important point, is that you feel valued and seen by whomever is offering that invitation. It's really important for projectors to feel valued and seen for their specific gifts and their perspective. Recognition is just as important as the invitation for projectors. You can actually think of the full projector strategy as wait for recognition and the invitation, or wait to be recognized and invited. So the full projector strategy, wait to be recognized and invited. We've talked about the invitation, when you need it, when you don't. We've talked about the importance of the invitation being paired with recognition so that we feel really seen and valued by whomever is inviting us. But we haven't talked about the waiting part. Let me state the obvious: waiting takes patience. So learn how to cultivate patience as a projector. Waiting is not chasing. Waiting is not acting out of scarcity or anxiety. And waiting actually can be active. I'm going to give you 3 things that you can do while you're waiting for the invitation. These 3 things will really help optimize this strategy. Number 1, rest. Empty out. Projectors are really sensitive to people and to the world around them, so they really need a lot of time for self-care and to take care of their bodies. Number 2, master your craft. Get good at that thing you want to be seen for. This might take a lot of practice or a lot of study. I have this thing that I tell myself that whenever I'm feeling bitter, so bitterness is the projector not self theme. So I tell myself, whenever I feel bitter, I get better. Number 3, really work on valuing yourself, valuing what it is that you have to offer. Often recognition and invitations come after you spend time working on self-validation. I know for me, the magic formula is rest plus mastery plus self-validation, and that's when invitations often come to me. This leads me to my final point in our conversation together. How do you magnetize invitations when you find yourself in an invitation desert? I mean, we've all been there. The founder of Human Design says recognition and invitations come from silence. There is a lot of truth to that, but you also need to put yourself out there as a projector so that people can find you. Now, when I say put yourself out there, I do not mean pitching yourself to people or pushing yourself on to people. What I mean more is visibility. Make yourself available for invitations. And remember, if exposure does feel challenging for you, and for a lot of projectors it does because we are so sensitive, the majority of the population are generators and they need something to respond to. They need external stimuli. So for me, the first thing that I did when I started my human design business was I built a website. That way I wasn't pitching potential clients individually, but I was exposing myself broadly so that people could find my readings. The second thing I did is that I wrote blog posts about human design on the platform Medium so I could share my knowledge of human design. Both of those actions do not require an invitation. The second thing I would do if you find yourself in an invitation desert is to focus on being inviting. For example, let's say you are looking for a relationship. Are you somebody would want to date? Oftentimes projectors spend a lot of energy inviting others, and I would just say pull that energy back and focus on yourself, making yourself be very inviting for whatever it is you want to be invited for. Also, if you are, let's say, looking for a relationship, put yourself on a dating app. So you're available for people to invite you on dates. You could also tell your network that you're looking. Go out. Now, if you're going out, I would like to remind you that the projector energy is really potent. It's actually meant to draw invitations to you. So when you go out, you don't need to go around and work the room. You can actually lean back and see who is drawn to you. This is something I often have to remind myself, that the projector aura, the projector energy, is very powerful and it is meant to be noticed and seen. Lastly, invitations and recognition often come from unexpected places and not from where we want it to come from. Not everybody is meant to see us, and to be honest, not everybody should see us. So instead of pushing yourself on people who are not inviting you, not taking your advice, not asking for your advice, or not seeing you, instead invest your energy in people and places that do, even if it's just your 2 closest friends. I know that, and I've said this in another video for projectors, I started my human design business because I gave 2 of my closest friends, I read their charts, and they suggested that I do this for a living. They saw in me that this is something I could do and make money from. And I want to add that ample compensation often feels like a form of recognition for a lot of projectors. I know for me, it definitely does. So don't be shy about that. Projectors, you are so good at seeing others and seeing what they're gifted at. I want to emphasize how much your own life can transform when you start valuing yourself and seeing your own gifts. So stop chasing, stop settling, and remember how powerful you are. Thanks so much for watching. Until next time, take good care of yourself and of each other. Bye.